Dave from Amplify, and I'm talking to Cash Savage from Cash Savage and the Last Drinks. I suppose it's from Cash Savage, I suppose, and Cash Savage turned into. Where did the Last Drinks come from? Was that always the band, or was that something that you came to after
Um,
after you
the,
started your career?
I'd been in other bands before, but when I started the Last Drinks, I sort of got jack of my drummer's always going overseas and me
Boom,
not being able
boom.
to do shows. So I started the Last Drinks with the point of it sort of being that not that I'd have many Last Drinks and I could always do shows.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so and so the point of it, that's why it's Cash Savage and the Last Drinks rather than a band name. But for a long time we've very much lived up to our name. So it's
So where did it start? 20 odd years ago. Where did it start? How did you, were you always going to be a muso, or was it something, was it like with a lot of people I interview, the bands together from school or all that sort of stuff, and other people fall on it a bit later?
um so actually Nick in the band we've been playing music together since we were teenagers,
Yeah.
and so we've always been playing music with him. I don't know. I think one of the greatest gifts that coming from a musical family is that I've always known that I could just be a musician.
Mm.
So I've never really thought about being anything else.
Of course, your dad was in a big band, wasn't he? A good
My
band.
uncle was. My uncle
Uncle
was in Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds,
in
but
Nick.
my dad was also in a lot of bands in the '80s, and so was my mum. And so
Sensational.
it's just part of our lives was there was music. So I never it didn't ever seem like it seemed like I could something I could do as a job. It's been pretty hard to get to the point where it is something you can do as a job.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think that's the music industry. I think for everybody, and again, I talk to people that have 30, 40 years tours and all that. They say it's a good holiday. It's not exactly the place where you're going to make a fortune unless you
No.
luck out and you become an actor or you've got some sort of a extra bit that, generates funds. So Nick, just before we go on, Nick, have you had anything to do with Nick at all? He's obviously a living legend in Australian music.
Oh, not really. No. No. I mean, I just came off the back. We just Mick Harvey and Robbie
Yeah.
Tickner put together a tribute show for my uncle because he died 8 years ago now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
And
know.
uh and so they put together a few shows, and it was just and I've just been part of that over
Oh, good
the
work. Good
start
work.
of July, and that was amazing. That was just a really beautiful experience because it was all Conway's mates, and incredible musicians, but there because they were his friends and they loved him, and that's it was just
He
a really
must have he must have been reasonably young.
he was 58 when he died.
Sure. Gee, that's
Yeah, it's
young,
young these
young,
days.
young in today's world. Absolutely. All right. So just basically in 25 words or less, the 20 years, what you've made some albums, you've done some touring. If you were sort of giving someone a bit of a quick synopsis into what the journey's been like, just to bring anybody that's just coming and turning up to Cash Savage for the first time today, a bit of an idea about, what's taken place.
Um, Jesus.
Yeah, I know
I
it's a
mean,
hard question, but it's just an abbreviation. It's like someone just says the one pager. What's the Cash Savage, story?
well, we've made a bunch of albums, but we've got quite a reputation for being quite a lot good live acts, and we all just really fucking love playing music, and it comes across when people come and watch us. And so, um, for us, the experience is the most important thing, and we enjoy being on stage together, and we also enjoy being in the studio together. So it's just uh, yeah, yeah. I think. Uh, I guess the other part of it is that I always write for myself about myself, and I try to be as vulnerable as possible in that process.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, do you do all the writing, or does everyone contribute?
I do. I start all the songs. I do most of the writing.
Yeah,
Depending on the song, I'll take a song with an idea of where it's going, or sometimes I'll take a song with a bit more freedom for everyone.
yeah,
But everybody's collaborations is a
yeah,
really
yeah.
big part of the
In
band. So
in rehearsal studio, all that sort of stuff.
there's there's a
Um,
lot of trust in the last drinks.
which is terrific, terrific. So I was going to say, why do fans resonate? Obviously, it's both. It's both performance and music, obviously. So,
Yeah,
you must have gone through a little sad time through COVID because if performance is a big issue, you weren't performing. So that must have been
I called it my midlife retirement. I never want to retire again. Started fishing every day, which I love, but
well, yeah,
and it was great, but fuck, I never want to retire
but
again.
it's
I've done
like
my retirement now.
one part of your life is music and one part of your life is something else. And if you stop one part of your life, it's like, it's a challenge, obviously.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was awful. It was terrible for my mental health, to be honest.
Absolutely. Who were the influences? What artists were the ones that you'd say were the major influences for you?
Um, I mean, that changes all the time. At the moment, I'm listening to a lot of PJ Harvey, but I used to listen to a lot of The Doors when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
My parents are easily the greatest front people you'll ever see in your life. So when it comes to performance, inspiration, it's absolutely mum and dad. Uh, but yeah, the I don't know. I get inspiration from. I just love going to see live music. I love
Yeah,
it living in the
I
city,
can
Melbourne.
imagine.
I go to live music all the time, so it's a really important part of the process is just seeing. I love seeing new bands too. I love I love the whole thing. I get very inspired by watching people play music together.
I think I'm going to start doing a pod on a whole range of different interviews, and deep dive is going to be one of them. And it'll be interesting to because there'll be an interesting story in you about the mum and dad thing because basically right from an early age they're performing, and you're not necessarily going to over 18 events. But right from an early age, you know what performance is because they're coming home, they're talking, they're sweating it, they've got to get there on time. There's studio, you're in the studio while they're bloody, rehearsing and doing a whole range of stuff. And you're basically being educated so that
Mm.
you know exactly what it's like when you go out. You don't have to learn too much, apart from the fact that you learn your own journey.
Yeah, well, I think there was a long time when arts were a trade, and people would learn to paint under a painter, or I remember I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's a photographer, and she said that she hopes her kid isn't a photographer because it's just a hustle.
Yes,
And I was like, "Your kid's going to be a photographer." And then when she was shooting, I watched her, and her kid knew the lenses, and her kid knew,
yes,
I was
yes.
just like, "Look at all this knowledge that she has
That
already."
that
Like,
that
of
that
course, she's got the potential to be a photographer. She's already knows more than any kid who chooses, So it's the same. Yeah, you get
that
it's a trade, and you learn it as a kid.
the conscious side of me, like I said at the start before we started, is nothing matters. So basically, you do what you do, and the doing is precedes the being, which you spoke about. You turn up for the experience. You're having an
Yeah,
experience, and if
yeah.
they pay you or didn't pay you, if all of a sudden the music industry changed and they said, you can't get paid for blah blah blah, you'd still play music. You just try and work out some way around it. I would
Yeah,
think.
I'd kick and scream about that
Of
though. So
course. Well,
because I
streaming's one
do
of those situations.
yeah, but I really believe in paying the artists,
Of
and
course, of course.
so I'd kick and scream about that. But yeah, I mean, I play music for myself,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
play music every day. Like my every room in my house has a guitar, and I'm constantly playing music. But the and listening to it and dissecting it as I listen to it, like it's definitely that's what I do. But I'm a big advocate for people valuing the art that we have around us.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. As I do, we've got a lot of photographers. We do the same thing. Some artists, especially the US artists, come out and in the first line they say, we want you to give us all your photos, high res, and we're going to use them, change them, do whatever we want with them forever. and we sort of say to ourselves, well, no, you're not. Fuck off. We're not shooting you. Fuck off. So it's the
Yeah.
same thing with a muso. If someone comes on up and says, listen, or they use it and you find it, it's one of the most incensing, really pisses you off. Live at Forum 11 is your latest album, was released last year. Is that right?
Forum 2, yeah, that was with
Forum
Uncle
2, sorry,
Kutcher.
not Forum
Yeah, yeah,
11. I've
that's
got the
correct. Yeah. It's the second room in the forum. They've got this beautiful theatre room upstairs.
The
Yeah,
Forum, for anyone listening, the Forum's a Melbourne venue that's legendary. It's just a sensational venue. So,
it is.
so that's about being in the Forum in that place, is it?
Well, we actually did the collaboration with Uncle Kutcher Edwards,
Okay.
and so we'd played with him once before, and it was an incredible experience for all of us because he's such a fantastic storyteller. But then he allowed us to be part of the songs and part of his story, and it was really an incredible experience for us. And so we decided we'd do it again and record it, and so that's what we got, and I'm really proud of it. It's an awesome recording.
If I'm going to go and listen to it after this interview, what tracks would you direct me to?
Mrs. Edwards, I think. Um, yeah, Mrs. Edwards is a real standout for me. He also jumps up. He's jumped up with me in some of my song better than that. Um, and it's a really beautiful experience because I guess beautiful and tragic because that song came out of the plebiscite for me, and so when he comes up and sings, especially after the referendum on the voice, it's become this whole it's taken on a whole nother life and it's kind of haunting and amazing when he does it. So yeah, both those tracks I would listen to.
And is that the current music? Is there some music on the drawing board at the moment?
Oh yeah, we're recording now. So we're back in the studio. I have spent the first half of this year writing, and we've got one more session in November, and then I think we should be it should be ready for mixing. We're sort of mixing, and
So
we've got 7 songs down, and we'll mix those, and then we'll do another session and get the rest of the tracks down, and we'll have them out next year.
an early 27 release, yeah. So
Well,
we'll,
yeah,
we'll,
depending on when it'll be, but yeah, it'll be next year.
we'll look forward to that. Okay, Z51, Shonen Knife. You've got a couple of events coming up, particularly. What are you looking forward to there?
Oh, I mean, look at that lineup. It's huge.
God bless
Actually,
Paul.
oh man, wow, what a lineup. That's unbelievable. We're actually coming up, we're going through Bellingen and then we're playing at Repentance Creek Hall and then we're coming in for to Brisbane for this show. I mean, any show that Barker's involved with, I would just do anyway. But it's just a ripper lineup
And
and
all
community,
all
yeah, and
musos,
community.
not sort of all people that you'd love to see as
Oh, 100%.
headliners.
Yeah. And community radio in this country is so precious. And I know in our city in Melbourne how important the community radio stations are for the scene. And I think as the world gets more and more digital, there's something really beautiful about those radio stations, and they have to be protected and looked after because
Yeah,
they're the lifeblood of a lot of music scenes.
I agree 100%, man,
Yeah,
100%. Uh, the devil sort of brings us our phone and flick, 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 and tries to tempt us with a whole range of other stuff, and it
yeah,
takes away from the people doing the hard work. It's like hard work isn't important anymore. It's like
yeah,
just flash some tits and ass or something or other, and someone's eyes will immediately come off something. So I agree. I think it's important that the people that can support it and
yeah.
elevate it, and make sure it's maintained through this period. So I agree. So it's cool.
Yeah, and every city that you go to around the world that has a music scene has
A,
radio
s-
stations that are
a
accessible
a
to a
strong
lot.
radio. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
And you would have played with quite a few of these people before, I presume, or a lot
Some
of
of
these.
them, Yeah, a bunch of them. As I said, we did Sydney Festival with Barker last year, and that
Yeah,
was awesome. She's amazing.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, some of them not at all. Yeah. So I'm look.
it'd be
Honestly,
fun.
we could have bailed after our time slot. I think we were on like, well, it would have been pushing it to bail to go home from Brisbane because the last flight's at 8 o'clock or something. But all of us want to stick around, so so we're all staying in Brisbane for an extra night.
Yeah,
So
be a hoot.
yeah.
What other events, Cash? You like to perform, as you said, and we see you a lot, which is great. What other events are coming up around the corner?
Honestly, we've got one show in Melbourne that we haven't announced yet. But I really took it. I, I still co-manage the band with someone, and so last year was really busy, and I just didn't have any time to write. And the my album is um, it's about grief, but I'm trying not to make it super sad,
Yeah,
but it's taking its toll trying to get it out of me, and I just couldn't do both. So I
yeah.
just sort of I was really lucky to be in a position to take a little bit of time off, and so yeah, we'll come back strong next year. We had plans to go overseas, and then that orange idiot um bombed Iran in in March, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to have to stress about flight prices and whether or not the flights are going to take off and all that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I
That's
just
it's a killer for a tour, isn't it? It's not like just a normal person touring. You can take a few days and all that sort of stuff. You've got a whole series of events you've got to meet, and if
yeah
something's put off, you can't meet it, and it's a whole cost sort of process that you can't. Missing
no,
one
but
fucks up the
and
whole tour.
post COVID, like the idea of cancelling any tours would just break me. So I'm just not going to do that. So
Yeah.
we just sort of take some time and see how the world levels out, or whether it will level out. Maybe
And
and it hasn't.
conversely, same with tourists that are coming here. Same
Yeah.
thing, same thing. Okay, so if you could perform with any music artist alive or dead, who would you choose? Why? You're on stage. Is it Freddie, Live Aid, Radio Gaga across the stage, Prince with his
I mean,
riffs?
probably right now it'd be PJ Harvey. Honestly, I got to play with Mick Harvey and Martin P. Casey from the Bad Seeds,
Yes,
and that was a bit of a dream, really,
yes.
because I have a lot of respect for those guys. But yeah, PJ Harvey probably be up there at the moment because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
listening
Is
to a lot of PJ Harvey.
dad still around?
Yeah, Dad's still around. Yeah, yeah,
Perform,
yeah.
does he jump on stage with you at all?
No, no, he doesn't. But him and Mum they've got a band called Chainsaw, and they still perform, but just in our hometown. It's pretty wild, actually.
That's cool.
It's a
One of the things, again, consciously, I'm into, feeling rather than just thought and all that sort of stuff. And when you think about the whole journey of your life and how you have parents and you have certain thoughts about them, you have a life and you're pursuing, and you get to a point at some stage where you just give it away and say, "Fuck it, I've done enough. I'm just going to sit and enjoy it, or just put up with it, or whatever." And you get a different way of encountering your parents. Because instead of
Mm,
them being, whatever they're being, you can just sit there and just marvel at the people that they are and they've
mm,
been. And so I
mm,
think if you've got parents that perform, especially, you know, they're there. You can go and watch them. It's not like they're in the kitchen and you sort of just marvel at something they say. You can actually go and watch them and say, "Wow, they've really got something." So that's cool, man. I think that's really cool. And I haven't. I do a lot of interviews, and that's not something that I hear commonly. That parents that sort of influence. So that's really cool.
yeah, yeah. I think guess it is pretty rare, but yeah. I mean, it just feels like normal to
It
me.
is, yeah. Long-term aspiration still there? Still there? What's a long-term aspiration you may have?
Oh, look, honestly, at this stage in my life, I'm happy just to keep touring for till I die.
Yeah, that's
Because
cool.
as I said, I never want to retire again. And honestly, I'm a better person if I'm performing. I turn into a
And
big angry jerk if I don't get to perform.
the
So
best thing about performing, because everyone looks at it differently. They say someone singing back to you and all that sort of stuff. when you're performing, what is it? What's the
It's the
feeling you get?
connection. It's the connection with the band and the connection with the audience. I think in this day and age, community and connection are really important, and
100%.
so um, you know, that's the beautiful thing about music is people can take it and it becomes theirs, and we can connect through a song, and it can mean something to them and mean something to me, and that's I find that incredibly special, and it's such a privilege to be able to go around the world and do that.
God bless. Okay, we're going to finish with some sort of quick fire questions here.
Okay.
So, what's the craziest thing you've ever done that you can talk about, I suppose?
That's not a quick fire
Yeah,
question.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for someone to come on back and say, "Well, we killed three people at one show in, in Switzerland."
I've never killed anyone. I don't know what the craziest thing I've ever done is. I've done
Nothing
some
comes to
crazy
mind. A
things.
lot of people don't answer it because basically, they've been, some of them were drug effed for 20 years and did some pretty crazy stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
that's
I don't know
enough.
what I'd
That's
want to
enough.
say for that.
What's
Yeah.
what's one topic you can talk about for hours?
The state of the music business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting. We'll have to have a conversation about it where you talk for an hour and you can tell us what you think about it.
I'm
So we can do
actually
that.
addressing the Victorian Music Assembly tomorrow about such a
Perfect.
thing. Yeah.
Perfect. Well,
Yeah.
share that. We'll we'll
Yeah.
we'll we'll get it out. What's the thing you like most about yourself?
My perception.
That's good. That's good. Actually, just going back to the last question, if you said what's the worst thing that's happened in the music industry in your lifetime, or the one introduction in the music industry in your lifetime that you think that is the worst thing that happened, what would you say that was? I know it's put you on the spot because
No, that's okay. I'm trying to think about it because I think actually the worst thing that's happened, particularly in this country, is the devaluation and the devaluation of our art and how little pride we have in the incredible artists we have in this country. And I think that when you devalue the art, you leave space for the artists to be ripped off in the way that they are through, the big conglomerates and the streaming platforms, and then also now AI. If you devalue music or any art to the point where you think that a computer can put together something that has the same soul as someone who has made some as a human, then that's a massive problem. So I think the devaluation of the art itself is the problem.
I saw a doco by Ted, what was his name, the promoter of the Easy Beats and all that sort of stuff. There was a
Oh yeah,
doco
yeah.
up now, and I just thought, looking at everybody and the way that they collaborated and got along like a family, like it was really terrific. And I'm not sure that we do as much of that anymore. I know that people, collaborate and all that sort of stuff, but they were all poor sort of thing. They became rich eventually, most of them, like
Hmm.
AC/DC and Founder and Young and all that sort of stuff. But originally, when they went overseas and came on back, they were just poor guys, just all working together to try and get somewhere and having a ball playing
I,
music.
I do think there's actually a really wonderful community of musicians out
Well,
there.
probably, probably,
I like to think that we're out there working together. I think that the people in the business who work for each other, you know, we need to push the water level up, and one
yeah.
person can't push the water level up.
No,
We have
that's
to do
true.
it
And I
together.
and I don't
And
think it doesn't have the, like in today's world, it's all about, flash Harry. So we don't hear those stories as often as we should. We hear
mm,
the ones about someone's, fallen off the edge, or this has happened and it's broken and someone killed someone and all this sort of stuff. We don't
yeah,
hear about the collaborative sort of stuff because it doesn't get enough clicks.
absolutely. And I mean, you go to other countries and they value their art, and we have a real. I mean, we have the issue that because we're a colonized country. I think that there is a section of the community that finds it really hard to well, I'm just racist about the fact that we have some of the oldest art in the world, and we should be really proud of that.
Very.
And I think so I think that runs deep inside the country, and so you go to other countries and they say, oh look how old this is. I actually had someone say to me, you don't have anything this old in your country, and I was like, mate, you've got no fucking idea. Like
Yeah,
we've got the
exactly.
oldest stuff you'll ever see, and we don't have pride in that, and that goes all the way through
I
to
agree. So,
community
so
to
w-
contemporary music. So
if we start a community, or if you start a community, just yo out, because we'll be a part of what you create. Okay, let's finish with your favorites. Favorite all time or current favorite album. I know they're shit question.
Strange Days by the Doors.
Great album. Favorite artist.
Well, at the moment it's PJ Harvey, but that's pretty hard. I also love Radiohead, and I mean I don't know favorite
Yeah.
artist. Gee whiz,
There's a
there
hundred
was a
of them.
time where I would have said the Beatles, So I don't know. I don't know.
Favorite movie.
Terminator 2.
Two. Why two?
Look, I'm not a big fan of James Cameron, but I also really respect that movie was like one of the last where it was the special effects were real,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
know
yeah.
you use some digital stuff, but also all those times where there's two people on stage, it's actually just twins. They've just got people who have a twin, including Sarah Connor. So there's something really
Unbelievable.
real about it, and I really like it. So, and what a great story.
Absolutely. Favorite place to visit.
I love going back home to Port Albert. So
Uh, in where is that in Melbourne? Is that down by in
it's
Victoria?
South Gippsland past the prom.
Fantastic. Favorite venue that was probably populated now. Once upon a time it wasn't as populated. Now as we move out and out and out, more
No,
and more.
not
No,
Port Albert.
no,
It's going backwards. No,
God
it's
bless. Terrific.
no. Port Albert seems to be like a weird little blind spot down there. But yeah,
Terrific.
the
Terrific.
population was when I left. I think the population was 300 when I was a kid, and now I think it's 200. I think we're struggling to get
Packed.
keep defined as a town. So,
Packed. Packed. Everyone knows everyone's business.
yeah.
Favorite venue to play.
Oh, my favorite venue is the Old Bar because I just love how much they support the music. They're just real champions of music.
What's that?
The Old Bar. I mean, not that. I mean,
The old bar. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
every Melbourne venue. I mean, I love playing the Forum. Um, there's a venue called I'm going to fuck this up called Le Miracunerie in Paris, which is amazing, and another one called Lubu in Rennes in France, which is amazing. But
I,
look,
I,
all the Melbourne venues like the Corner Hotel, the Forum,
I love the Forum because it's in the city and there's a lineup of people every show. It doesn't matter what the show is. There's
yeah,
a
it's
lineup
pretty.
out front, and it sort of makes live music look like it's a popular sort of thing to all the masses.
Yeah,
So it's a pretty cool thing. Favorite food,
soup,
veggie, any type.
any soup.
Favorite drink. You're a cheap night out. Favorite
I
drink.
I am a cheap night out. I'm a simple woman with simple tastes. Favorite drink. I'm gonna be a dickhead here. I reckon like a really good Pinot Noir.
Whoop,
Yeah.
whoop.
But I love a beer. So I mean yeah.
Draft or lager.
Oh, a lager, a pilsner is preferred. I'm so sick of the fucking flowery beers getting around at the moment. I wish they'd go out of fashion again. But I'm pilsner.
Favorite person in history, apart from me.
Uh, probably anyone in my family.
I think it's legendary. At some stage, Cash, you're going to have to do a memoir because, like a family memoir, because I'm sure your parents, their story would be enormous because basically, their whole performance and all that sort of gear was in a different time and a different world and,
It was
different
a really different time and world, that's for
Different,
sure.
different, different. And, even when you talk about the orange guy and globally and, statesmen and all this sort of gear, we lived in a different place.
We
And
did, yeah.
so performance was different. So I think it'll be an interesting read. And do you have a tattoo?
I got quite a few.
Favorite? What's your favorite tattoo?
my probably my crying man here.
Oh, that's cool, man. That is
Yep.
cool.
We got that one in Paris.
And the guns, eh? You get
It's
to
a,
see the guns as
you get to
well.
see the guns. Yeah, crying French man here.
That's cool, man. That is
Yeah.
coul. Did you spend
Yeah.
much time in France? You sound like France hit you well,
Yeah,
Paris.
it's probably our biggest audience next to Melbourne, you know. Probably goes Melbourne, then France, all of France, and then the other cities of Australia. But the yeah, we unfortunately haven't been over there this year, but we went over, I was over
Oh,
there
it's a
twice
cool
last year.
place.
It's awesome, yeah.
We interviewed the guy from Nouvelle Vague yesterday, who's a French band.
Oh yeah,
And
cool.
I haven't quite looked at the transcription yet because I couldn't understand a thing he said with his accent. So that'll be an interesting thing to transcribe. That's it, Cash. Listen,
Awesome.
we're here. We're relational. So if we can help at all, yell out and good luck with it all.
Oh, awesome.
Obviously, we look forward to Z51 and Shonen because of Paul and Consume and all that because he's a mate. And
He's
so
awesome. Paul's just so awesome.
he's an awesome guy. Like
Yeah,
he likes to support everything. Plus, if you get into a conversation with him,
I
especially about
have.
the orange guy, he'll
I
talk for
have.
3 months. He won't stop.
I have,
And
and I loved it. I loved
and
every moment of
he is well versed in it all. So that's
it.
cool. All the best, bud.
Awesome. Where are you
But
based, Dave?
I'm in Melbourne.
You're in Melbourne. Ah, right. Okay, cool. No worries.
Anytime you want to yell out and because basically I want to create a community and do a whole range of things moving forward from a conscious perspective because
Yeah.
I think that too many people get caught up. In my view, there's learning, doing, then being, and being is the ultimate because that's the experience area. And too many people get caught up in the doing, the measurement and mortgages and properties and all this sort of
Mhm.
stuff. And they don't really experience themselves. They just experience themselves as an extension of their external measurements and forces. And really, everything's got to come out from within. That's why I like music because when you're on stage, it doesn't matter what's taking place. If you're not in the moment, everyone's going to walk out because you can't construct a performance.
No, you can't
You
fake it.
can construct a Taylor Swift concert or something, but she's still got to turn up and perform.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't fake that.
You can't fake that, and so it's an in the moment sort of process. But unfortunately, and I talk to stacks of people, they all come out of the performance and go back into some form of a lack of sort of belief or
Mhm.
that someone I won't say who, but I interviewed a big Australian artist. He's pulled out, the band he's in's pulled out 30 albums. He's pulled out 20. And he says yesterday, he says if there's 100 people in the crowd and 99 of them applauding and one guy's sort of looking down at his phone, he concentrates on the guy that's looking at his phone. And he says, what's happening? What am I not providing? What's taking place?
I feel like those guys looking at their phone are a fucking plant sometimes. I'm always like, what the hell? I had one right at the front center once. I took her phone off it. I was just like, no.
Well, exactly.
I wasn't.
Out,
It's just it blows my mind. I'm like, what are you doing with your life? Like,
out,
why are you here? Get out. Yeah,
security, out.
that's right. They always kick out the drunk guy having a really good time, which they probably should because he becomes a menace. But maybe kick out the guys with the phones as well.
So if I do anything and as I do what I'm going to do, I'm interested in the fact that you've got from what you were talking about, what you're going to talk about tomorrow, you've got uh, a you factor that says, I want this to change. I want this world to change, and I'm going to do what I can to change it the way that I think it should operate. And I think if we all turned up that way, we wouldn't have billionaires and, the power's at the bottom. It's not at the top. It's just
Well,
that they've broken us down to believe that we have no power.
that's the thing. That's why I say it's all about community and connection
Yeah.
because that's something that you can't buy with money,
No.
and you also it's sort of anti that, and also it can't be. It's very easy to. It's very difficult to strip that away,
Yeah.
and if you've got a strong community that are working for each other,
Yeah.
then like that's
And
that's
and
that's really powerful, and that lifts everybody up, you
it
know.
is, but bringing it back to the you, if you want a career in music, do what Sarah Bareilles did when she's sung, Yellow Brick Road in that darkened hall, just a piano and all these faces looking at her like she's just legendary, she's just singing. Or do what Prince did when he was at the Hall of Fame, when he comes on there with Jeff Lynne and all those guys, and he's on the side. They didn't even know he was turning up. He did this 2 minute riff. He picked up his guitar at the end of it. He threw it into the Hall of Fame crowd and walked off stage.
That's so good.
Do that, you've got a
I do
career.
love a good Prince story.
Forget about numbers. Forget about social media. Forget about use
Yeah.
it, but use it the way you want to use it.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry
of course.
about it limiting you or whatever. Just do your stuff. And if anything, Cash, I think that when I think about, because I see a lot of stuff over years and years and years, and international, all this sort of stuff. When I think of Cash Savage, when I think about what I've seen of Cash Savage and read about Cash Savage and seen Cash Savage, I think they're just music. They're not. There's not a. It's like you. It looks authentic. It doesn't look like it's just a construct that is, unapproachable, untouchable. They're
Yeah,
stars, and you can't get to them if you go to a show because they're ushered in and ushered out. And I think
yeah.
that to me is probably the best compliment anyone could get. I would think, and
Well,
I think that
it
that
is a
probably comes
lovely
from your
compliment.
parents because they were grounded and all that sort of stuff, and you've turned up to be probably a grounded, approachable muso like them.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no, that's a really lovely thing to say. Really lovely. Thank
so
you.
as you need to, yell out if you need to, if you see
Will
us and you
do.
need to, and yeah, all the best. Be well,
I will
take care.
keep you up to
Good,
date with when the album's
do
coming out, Dave.
do
Thank
that,
you.
do that, and keep a good luck tomorrow.
Awesome.
I
Thank
hope it
you.
hits. I hope it
Thank
hits a
you.
few ears that can change things.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Excellent.
All the
Cheers, Dave.
best. See ya.
Bye.